Damn right.
The Defenders is currently available to stream on Netflix and is the latest show from Marvel and Netflix, and essentially it's, you know, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist and Luke Cage coming together to fight a common enemy, which is the Hand. Now, aside from Game of Thrones, I will probably say this is my most anticipated show of the year, and that's because I love Daredevil, I love Jessica Jones, I really like Luke Cage, and even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Iron Fist, I do think that the character definitely had potential, and after seeing The Defenders, I have to say that this is a very good show, and it has some incredible moments, but it is quite a mixed bag. For example, the opening title sequence of this show is actually beautiful. It is perfect. It literally combines like the smooth slickness of the double exposure True Detective style with like this really vibrant neon-esque colors of like American Gods. It looks incredible. It's everything you could ever wish for. But I feel like the music for the actual intro is kind of underwhelming. Okay, this show has some really great action scenes that really do utilize all of their heroes really well, and all the actors sell the physicality of it so well, but at the same time they do have some really underwhelming fight scenes, okay? This is a show that actually has some really cool cinematography, especially the first episode. I really like the way that they used color to really sort of differentiate each character, to make it all feel very separate and sort of make it individual. Like for example, all the scenes with Daredevil in the first episode would be kind of like lit with sort of a red light. Jessica Jones would have a very cold blue feeling to it. Luke Cage would be sort of color graded in a very yellow way, and Iron Fist would be kind of green. And sort of, I like the progression that as they sort of come together, the colors start to fade away, and it just kind of becomes like one universal thing. And I really like that use of color. And also, especially episode 1, I feel like it has some really cool sort of editing, cutting transitions. And then at the same time, there's also some really stupid Dutch angles where you're like viewing everything like this. And some of the editing transitions also feel really stupid. Like there's this weird like thing where it kind of shifts, and I was not a fan of that. And so I feel like there's some really good stuff, but at the same time, there's also some really bad stuff. Easily for me, by far the best thing about this show is the acting. The acting across the board is top notch, and the 4 leads, Charlie Cox, Christian Ritter, Mike Colton, and Finn Jones, they're all very good. I would say that Finn Jones definitely improved from Iron Fist. I think that now he's actually working with a good script, and he actually does a pretty good job. Obviously you have Mike Colter's Luke Cage and Charlie Cox as Daredevil, who are both obviously very good. I definitely say like Daredevil, he's basically kind of like the Batman of the team, in that he's definitely physically the weakest, but he has the most ability, and he's the one that sort of leads the team. But I have to say, for me, my standout favourite is Jessica Jones. I think she by far has like all the best one-liners. She just has some of the best moments. And all the supporting characters, you know, Karen and Foggy and Trish and who else? Colleen Wing, you know, Misty, and obviously we have Claire, played by Rosario Dawson. They're all very good. They all give very good performances here. The villainous characters, this is where it gets interesting. Obviously you have Madame Gao, who's probably one of my favourite characters in this sort of, you know, this universe, this Netflix TV universe. She's obviously great. You have some other villainous characters that I'll talk about in a bit when I get into spoilers. And obviously you have Sigourney Weaver, who basically plays the big villain. She is incredible, but I didn't like the direction they went with her character at all. Like at all. And I did feel that she was very mustache twirly. You know, she just had all her minions do stuff for her. She didn't really take enough action, and they even addressed this in the show. There was this one scene that takes place at a Chinese restaurant. I think episode 3 or 4, when she did something. I'll talk about it in the spoiler bit. But when she did something, and I was just like, that's it, that was way too mustache twirly. I'm not having that. You know, and the reason I get so pissed at that is because Sigourney Weaver is like one of the greatest action heroes of all time. And I know that she's not in her exactly physical prime, but it would have been nice to sort of see her actually do some stuff, because they keep giving you hints that she's just really sort of badass and she's so powerful, but you never really get to see her do that. They just keep saying it. You know? Now, my biggest problem with Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist, the shows, not the characters, is the fact that they were way too long. 13 episodes is way too much. It should have been 10 or 8. Those shows dragged, and it was way too long. Now, my biggest problem with The Defenders is that it's way too short. 8 episodes is not enough. And it doesn't make sense to me, because think about it. You know, one character gets 13 episodes, whereas 4 characters gets 8. That doesn't make any sense. Now, the 8 episodes does mean that it's much faster paced, and I really appreciate the fast pace, but I just wish that it left me wanting more. I wanted to see them interact with each other more. It's been like 2 years since we've seen Daredevil, and it wasn't enough. I wanted more. It's been 2 years since we've seen Jessica Jones. It's not enough. I want more. That's my biggest complaint with the show, is that it left me wanting more. It was really good stuff for the most part, but it just left me wanting more, and that 8 episodes is not enough. It should have been 10 at the very least. I'm also not a huge fan of the way it ends. I kind of feel like it ends very abruptly and very traditionally. I'm not a huge fan of the way it ends. I just want to put that out there. I think a really big compliment that I have for this show is how well the writers understand and how they nail each character. Because obviously these are 4 very, very different characters who, they come together because they have one thing in common, right? And that's that they want to help people. And I liked how they explored that. I liked how they explored each character's backgrounds, and I liked that once the characters sort of came together, I feel like the characteristics of each character kind of complemented each other, and I like that it wasn't just the 4 of them. You've got moments between Iron Fist and Luke Cage, you've got moments between Daredevil and Jessica Jones. It was really they really did a good job of exploring the relationships of each character and sort of how they sort of work together, and it was really interesting. Also, I have to give a special shout out to Scott Glenn as Stick, who I think is a fan favorite. He does a great job, and I think he's kind of the Nick Fury sort of character. I mean, you could say that Rosario Dawson's character is sort of the Nick Fury, but I feel like Stick also does a good job sort of bringing the team together, and I just really appreciated that, each character obviously feels very different on their own, but when they come together, they still feel different, but they kind of mesh together really well, and I appreciated that. Now I'm going to get into a bit of spoilers, because if you're watching this review, then you've probably seen the show. I just kind of left that a little bit spoiler free in case you haven't finished it or you're about to start watching it. But just to sort of sum up my thoughts, I think this is a very good show. It isn't perfect. It does have quite a few problems, and a lot of those I will address in the spoilery bit. But I do think that overall this is a very satisfying, very fun show and very enjoyable with some really cool action scenes, some really good acting, some really good characters. But yeah, now I'm going to go into spoilers. What the hell did they kill Sigourney Weaver? Why? What? Okay, that's easily the biggest spoiler. That's my biggest problem with this show, is how they killed Sigourney Weaver. They created such an incredibly interesting, compelling character, and I wanted to see so much more. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm obviously very excited for the Punisher show, but I would much rather see the Five Fingers of the Hand origin story show. Sigourney Weaver and Madame Gao and all the rest of them. I want to see their origin story. One of my favourite moments in this entire series is when Sigourney Weaver is having lunch at that Turkish restaurant, and they said, this is better than they made it in Constantinople. And then the guy's like, actually it's called Istanbul, Constantinople is the ancient name. And that was just, I love that, how subtle it was. She kind of showed that Sigourney Weaver is a character who's unnaturally old. And obviously, she's been around for hundreds and thousands of years, and I really like the hints. Like I said, they kept dropping hints that she was just this powerful and badass character, and you get to see her sort of incapacitate Elektra at one point, but then Elektra just stabs her in the back, and she just goes down like that. I mean, it just pissed me off that they killed Sigourney Weaver. I mean, oh my god, I can't get over that. Also, I'm not a big fan of the ending. Like I said, I think that the way that they left it with Daredevil and Elektra sort of dead but not dead, because you obviously know that they're not dead, but I would have liked them to sort of keep them dead for a while. I didn't like that the last shot was just, Daredevil alright, what happened to Elektra? I don't know, what? I didn't like that they left things so open-ended, but at the same time they basically sort of finished the arcs with the other characters. I don't know, I just didn't like the way that they wrapped up this show. I mean, I hope there's going to be a Defender season 2. I just felt like some of the stuff felt too closed and some of the stuff felt too cliffhangery, Also earlier when I said that Sigourney Weaver had that one moment where I just couldn't take it with the mustache twirling, when she is in the Chinese restaurant, she kind of Elektra comes in and she's like, Elektra, and then she lets Elektra fight the Defenders, and then she just kind of stands to the side, even though she is without a doubt the most physically capable person in the room. I mean, that kind of pissed me off, because again, I just wanted to see Sigourney Weaver. That was by far my least favorite aspect of the show, is that they killed off Sigourney Weaver. I mean, it still pisses me off. I just finished watching it about a couple hours ago and it's still pissing me off. But Defenders is still a very, very enjoyable show. I mean, we had some really great moments, right? We got to see Luke Cage versus Iron Fist versus Daredevil. We got to see some really satisfying fan service stuff. Obviously, it isn't perfect, like I just said, but I feel like this is definitely like when sort of the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff. And as for the grading, I really don't know what, I'm really conflicted. I don't think I've ever felt like this before. I'm gonna give the Defenders a B+. Now, I do feel like it could get an A-. Some of the stuff in this show is truly incredible, but it is kind of bogged down by a couple of technical, stupidly things, like the stupid Dutch angles that really piss me off. But yeah, I do think that a B+ is a pretty good grade. I mean, B+ is a really good grade, right? A- is obviously better, but I don't know. I might change over time to give it an A- or maybe an A, but for now it's a B+. Guys, thank you as always for watching. I hope you've seen The Defenders. I hope you enjoyed it because I certainly did. Thank you.